Right, hello Speed Gaming. I am Beeps and I will be commentating this race. And I'm excited about this race here. We have Farfelu, I think is that right? And versus Fat Scott. So Team Last Minute versus Shy Guy Fan Club. And I'm looking forward to this race. So the runners will be getting started in just a little bit. All right, both of these runners are off. So Farfelu is using like, first of all, using a different sprite. That's pretty cool. It's like the Justin Bailey sprite and also just a cool background. And runners are gonna be starting in Green Brinstar. So this week we have basically a randomized start location. And here. Oh yeah, random start location for Rando. So the runner's gonna be checking a lot of items. Mike is cutting off. Let me move my mic over. Hopefully that will help with that. So already the runners have a ton of ammo. Well, not a ton of ammo. One of all three types of ammo and morph ball. If my mic is still cutting, please let me know. And an E-tank on top. So the big thing about this rando is that it just randomizes the start location. Other than that, the seed will they'll do weird various stuff, so it's still gonna be an interesting seed. But the random start location makes things a little more interesting because, well, it's a random start location, so the seed can do a lot more weird things. And also because it's a full randomizer, the runners will have to go basically everywhere. So far, there hasn't been too many interesting things. I mean, of course, runners have to get Morph Ball, but other than that, well, not really much interesting. Already visiting the animals, less than 3 minutes in. Shoutouts to the animals. I love the animals. So Sports Spawn might show up. Well, this seed, Sports Spawn will not show up because the runners already have super missiles, and there's only a few good ways to force Sports Spawn. I guess those are if you don't have, like, Morph or Supers. So they can just do a backboard Spore Spawn right now. So, unfortunately, no Force Spore Spawn. These runners are in sync right now. Wow. Into door transition at the same time. Checking out this item up here, power bombs. Farfelu gonna pick those up. And so is Fat Scott. Very good choice because power bombs right now are, well, especially early on, power bombs are really dangerous. Like, your power bomb count is, like, super important. Oh! Fat Scott, unfortunately, taking a death from those side hoppers. Luckily, it's only, like, less than 4 minutes in, but, still. Those guys deal a lot of damage, and that's part of the one of those things in start location rando, because it's really hard in some locations. Because you get thrown into situations you've never seen before sometimes. So, Farfelu got Speed Booster, which means that he can now check the waterway item. Fat Scott going to go pick up his items again. And let's see what is over here. More missiles. So, I'm expecting Farfelu to probably not pick up too many more missiles because missiles are kind of slow. Because it's like a 7-second item fanfare for each thing. And well, basically every missile is just next to 7 seconds that he has to think about. Yeah, already skipping missiles. Does not care about them. So, Farfelu going to check out Spore Spawn Supers now by the looks of it. He will need to farm a he's gonna need to farm 2 super missiles from the farm bugs in this room to get out. 2 supers minimum, actually, because there's still even more. Because there's another green door at the bottom of Pink Bryn. And also there is the Wave Gate item. So he's gonna need to farm a lot of supers, basically. Alright, Fat Scott back where he was originally, about to go back into the side hopper room. Farfelu farming a lot of supers, because he needs a minimum of 4 to get where he needs. Though it looks like he is going to farm a bit more. May as well farm up to full. Fat Scott has low health, but he survived, which is the most important thing. And Farfelu about to check out the Wave Gate item. So, because of his start location, it almost feels like the runners are doing the same thing that they normally would, except just slightly earlier. There we go. There is Super Shot. And we get to see the Wave Gate item, and that is Spring Ball. Amazing item. Fat Scott looks like he's farming up some health here. Don't blame him for that one. He has Power Bomb selected. Oh, we got a Power Bomb drop. He has that Power Bomb selected, so I think he might be going into... I don't know where he's going, actually. I would think maybe... Looks like he's going to Wave Gate. And Farfelu opening that yellow door. Checking out this item here in the tube. And it's a missile pack. Fat Scott going for Wave Gate. Unfortunately... Oh, yeah, missing all 5 shots and having to leave the room. And it looks like we are going to be seeing Farfelu going through Meme Route. He has no supers, that's something to keep in mind. Missiles, he does care about them. I don't think he's going to get too many more, though. Most runners stop at around 30 missiles. Fat Scott getting his Spring Ball. The C does not want to give any supers early on. Okay, space jump in the ceiling. Farfalu did a powerbomb. I have a feeling he's going to try to spark into it. Yeah. Nice little spark right there. And we get to see Billy Mays. Ice Beam. That's a good item. We're already really close to a Suitless Meridia seed. And more super missiles. I am sure Farfalu is excited to see those. Because this seed has not been nice as supers. So I'd be willing to bet Farfalu is going to go back to the ship and probably refill, because to get all the supers back and also a lot of power bombs, mostly for the power bomb. So I'm curious to see what he does after that, though. Oh yeah, with Speed Booster, he's going to be able to do a spark in this next room. Fat Scott seeing those missiles, doing a double take there. Nice use of a missile right there instead of Ice Beam. And looks like Fat Scott decided not to go back to the Edikun area because there wasn't really anything there worthwhile. So I would say that though he lost 4 minutes, I wouldn't say he's 4 minutes behind right now. And Farfalu using missiles and to climb. Is there a place you can read about this week's rules in depth? I'm not completely sure. Plasma enhanced. So so Fat Scott is going to be going down or to Red Tower instead of back to Retro Bryn. But this week, basically what's going on is it's just a start location rando and a full randomizer. There might be a link somewhere. I'm not sure where, though. So Fat Scott going down Red Tower now. So this means that he will not be getting his Space Jump or Ice Beam until much later. And looks like, oh yeah, Varia Tweaks are on. But Scott is going to be getting a Plasma Beam right now. Yeah, that's one of the things about these start location randomizers. They force Varia Tweaks on, I'm pretty sure. So, depending on depending on what the seed gives, Scott might not even need the Ice Beam or Space Jump. Though that Space Jump is greatly going to help out Farfalu. Oh, so Scott has Speed Booster on right now, which... There we go. Just do a run on the bottom and you're up. And more power bombs up here. And a Varia in Warehouse Missile. Now that is basically saying to go down. Wow. Yeah, so Farfalu doesn't have bombs, so one of the things that is included in these randomizers is something called Varia tweaks. So basically, with Varia tweaks, 3 things change. So you can lower the acid statue without a space jump, like in Lower Warfare. You can get the item in Wreck Ship E tank without actually killing Fantoon, and you can activate the bomb statue with, or fight Bomb Trizo without having bombs. So basically, once you actually pick up the item, that is one of the differences in this week. Unfortunately, see a crate stand up here. 1 missile and 1 soup should do it. And there we go. Crate is down. Farfalu's gonna be checking out the back of Gauntlet, just cleaning up the rest of this area. I have a feeling with this item set, he's also gonna go to Wreck Ship. And there's Wave Beam for Scott. So now they both have purple beams. Time for even more tracker anxiety cutie tones. I'm just messing with you. Actually, never mind. I don't have purple beams because Fat Scott has plasma. Never mind. I forgot he had that. Looks like he is also going to check out the climb super item as well. At least that's what I'm guessing. Using missiles to kill these pirates. He has a lot of missiles now. So, I'm curious if this cleanup is gonna pay off. Because depending on what's here could determine just... I actually don't know who's ahead now. So, because this cleanup was kind of a bust. I mean, other than ice and... yeah, ice and space. And a grapple down in Norfair. This is very much looking like it could be a Suitless Seed. All we need to see is a high jump. And no grav. Spazer! Best beam. And Fat already had plasma, so he's just going to go into the menu to turn plasma back on. Yeah, Farfalu will not miss any of the items Fat has, but Fat might be skipping some of the items Farfalu has, which Farfalu didn't get too much, honestly. So actually, no. Space Jump doesn't really open anything up because Scott can just Spring Ball jump into in Worst Room if he ends up going down. Actually, no, I don't think he'd go down right now. Charge Beam at the moat. That's actually really big. Scott is probably not going to find that for a while. So, I don't know, actually, because I don't think Scott is going to pick up much more ammo other than supers. Whereas Farfalu, he'll probably still pick up supers because his beams are really bad. So actually, I don't really think... yeah, I don't really think that charge does much in the long term. Actually, it depends on the route. Because the Seed does not seem to be giving many supers, and he might already be in the mindset of just finding charge. Not going to pick up those missiles, and going to go down to Croc. So for those just joining, then this week you have a start location rando combined with a full rando. And two boss fights at the same time. Yeah, Phantoon and Quagmire. We both have the same song. Scott not picking up those missiles. Man, Phantoon is being a jerk with fast eye closes. Nice observation in the chat. So, Farflu has half the beams, and Scott has the other half of the beams. That's actually really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And Farflu's health is... Well, Farflu has nice health now. Not anymore. But it was really kind of scary. It was in Health Bomb. And Phantoon is down. Yeah. Oh, and a gravity suit. Okay. So that means that Scott is not going to find charge for quite a while. And I don't think he's ever going to... I don't know. He might never find ice in Space Jump. And an E-Tank up here. Scott going to take that. And an E-Tank and Rex ship right side. Not Scott. Farflu's gonna take that. Scott gonna pick up these supers. And well, we're gonna see that so Scott is gonna need an item for Worst Room. So he has an item for Worst Room. I'm not sure if it's actually in logic, but he has Spring Ball, which you can Spring Ball jump up there. So again, I don't know if that's actually in logic or not. I don't remember the logic for this that far. Okay, so Spring Ball for Worst Room is in logic. Thank you, Zeb. I think the only Worst Room setup that's not in logic that's viable for this is the wall jump. So actually, one thing to take note of for Lower Warfare is Scott does not have much ammo. So if he had charge, Lower Warfare would be very free, but he does not have charge. So Lower Warfare would not be the best option, I don't think, with that item set. Scott picking up that missile. But I imagine Phantoon is going to be the last boss he fights. And a reset over on Farfalu's side after seeing that E-Tank. And so Scott is going to go through Cathedral to see the item. Yeah, so the big difference, I think, between Scott and Farfalu is that Scott is going to be picking up a lot of more... Just going to keep picking up ammo. I mean, Farfalu, up until finding Plasma and Wave, is still going to pick up a lot of ammo, I think. At least for super missiles. Farfalu going to do a Shine Spark in the attic. Though without high jump, he is unfortunately a tiny bit too low, has to super this atomic. And with Speed Booster, this setup is kind of borked. So with this setup, I think he has to unequip Speed Booster in order to get up there with the setup he's trying to do. Scott gonna pick up these missiles. Farfalu not picking up those missiles though. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna unequip speed. That way he can do this jump. So if you're gonna be doing this jump, you need to set up inside the save room, because this setup only works with high jump. So the same sprite on the left is the Justin Bailey suit, which from Metroid 1. At least that's what they call it. Oops, all missiles. Where exactly is Scott gonna go the long way around? I think we might be seeing the long way. Ooh. You don't get to see that very often in races. Yeah, the intended way. Or we're going to be seeing a Lower Warfare visit. That works too. Even better. Turning speed back on. I was not expecting a Lower Warfare visit without checking Bubble Mountain at the least. But hey, we're seeing it. Does the seed require glitches? Maybe? Yeah, it can. The glitches would be... Any glitches required would be minor, though. With a lot of power bombs, Farfalu is just going to use a PB there. Or 2 PBs. And sees a super pack, and he's gonna take it. So without charge beat, or without any really good beams... Well, that's a really good thing. So Crystal Flash Clip is not in Logic, though the Ice Clip is in Logic. Though the Ice Clip is not going to be required in this seed because they have Speed Booster. Though Ice Clip is actually it's a really easy trick. Like one of the easiest glitches in the game. So they're simple glitches. Scott is going to be fighting GT here. Without charge, he's going to have to rely on supers. Needs to get into the corner. Oh, this is actually bad. This is actually kind of scary. Okay, he should be fine right here. So, okay. This is fine. Okay, so he's gonna have to shoot the orbs. And he has a lot of missiles right now. So GT only shoots those beams when you have 32 missiles or more. Or maybe it's greater than 32. You want to have less than 32 missiles, though, in this fight. Varia was in Wreck Ship not wreck ship, warehouse missile. Those are completely different areas. Okay, 32 and lower inclusive. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was less than 32 or 32 and lower, so 32 and higher. Because I would think it would make sense to be 32 and higher. That would make sense, Aster. Okay, there's the answer. Because he just did it with 32. And there we go, GT is dead. So you get to see what items he is holding. So he has 2 items that could be really useful. Though who knows, maybe they aren't useful. Let's see. So the first item, it also looks like Scott doing an X-ray. Okay, going to Shine Spark up there. Supers and a missile. So that means so even if it was not even if there was a useful item, he would still be able to pick it up. Because Varia tweaks are on, so you don't actually need Space Jump to get that item. It would have just been really slow. And some supers over at X-Ray. I don't anticipate Farfaloo picking up any more super packs. Especially because he's about to get Plasma. So Scott is going to do some spring ball jumps in Worst Room. 3 power bombs to destroy these pillars. And Farfaloo about to find Plasma over at Spacer, which does a lot of extra damage. So he's going to be doing 90 damage per charge shot to 600. So that is a significant upgrade. I'm not going to do the math on that. Okay. But it's big. And now, little fun fact, Farfaloo actually has the fastest beam in the game. Because you're able... Uncharged Ice Plasma is the fastest beam for some reason. I have no clue why. But it is. Scott not going for the spring ball jump. I'm not sure if he knows spring ball jump. But this jump is pixel perfect and frame perfect, I'm pretty sure. The pixel perfect, frame perfect wall jump. So this is like a really, really hard jump. So hopefully he remembers that he has spring ball. Farfaloo picking up his Varia suit. Wait, is there a double in here? Like double something? I thought it was only a pixel perfect, frame perfect. I didn't realize there was a second layer to that. This crate looks extremely green. Yeah, high jump boots makes that so much better. Like, it's a joke with high jump boots, honestly. But, like, without high jump, it's bad without high jump. Oh no, it doesn't look like he knows a spring ball jump, unfortunately. So he's gonna be leading Lone Warfare. Oh no. Looks like he's going to be taking intentional death. Likely saved right before Lone Warfare. Yeah, I don't think he knows spring ball jumping, which is really unfortunate. So, Farfaloop got killed Kraid, got a wave beam, and well, and now he doesn't need. I don't think Farfaloop is going to pick up any more ammo anymore, because like now he has the full beam combo, and is doing. He can take out basically anything with just beams. Scott can take the intended path to wave beam. So spring ball jumps do not need bombs at all. So, do a spring ball jump. What you do is you basically you morph or you turn off spring ball first, and then you do a midair morph while you're still going up. Wait, did I say not involve spring ball? They don't involve bombs. I don't know what I said, but basically once you're going up, you do you pause the game and then re-equip spring ball, and then you can jump in the air. So basically you can do a double jump using spring ball, to put it in other terms. Gravity was in cosine room, so after Croc. Oh yeah, anything's easier than that wall jump, honestly. Even CWJ is easier than that wall jump. Farfaloo seeing the spacer early, not picking those up. Or that up. Scott gonna be picking up those supers. So I guess the only item we haven't seen that can... I guess there are two items we haven't seen that can get Scott up worst room without spring ball. And those are high jump and bombs. So this seed started in Green Bryn Star Top. I don't know if Farfaloo can high jump with soft dive, but I imagine we're going to be seeing a croc check. Because for him, everything's pointing to Norfair. Because he doesn't really have a good way through Meridia, so I guess we're about to see what's over here. So there's bombs. Now this does some interesting things for Scott. Because with bombs, he can get through worst room now. Without using Spring Ball. So I wonder if that means he's going to go back into Lower Warfare, or if he's going to go to Meridia. I would think he'd go back into Lower Warfare. I imagine we're probably gonna... Yeah, we're probably gonna see a Croc play. Because high jumpless is... Wow, nice super on the door. It just did not work. And that's kind of strange. But that is something that can happen. But I'm gonna kind of paraphrase what Kip says here about high jumpless lava dive doesn't win races. I'm just gonna paraphrase Kip right there, basically. But there's very few cases where a high jumpless lava dive will be the play, basically, because Farfalu would not be in go mode with. At least I don't think he wouldn't be in a comfy go mode without actually, if he did a high jumpless lava dive. He'd have to rely on getting something in Lower Warfare. Not picking up that R tank. High jumpless lava dive with plasma and screw his work, you think? I guess my thing about high jumpless lava dive is I love high jumpless lava dive, but the thing is that depending on how you do it, like especially in Farfalu's case, he would still have Crocomire, and he would probably end up checking Crocomire anyway, and then finding something that would just obsolete high jumpless lava dive, and well, that item would make Lower Warfare a lot faster, and just I don't know. I haven't done enough Rando in a while to... Oh, a nice little grapple glitch on Farfalu's side. Grappling Croc is fun. Yeah, from Farfalu's point, grab or high jump has to be at Croc, and both of those will make the rest of the seed faster. I guess the big thing comes from if you can go mode the rest of the seed with a high jumpless lava dive, then that changes things. But like if it's... I don't know. Honestly, I haven't thought about rando logic in like a long time. Try to be very truthful. Yeah, CF ammo for Scott. That is actually worth noting. And Scott is likely still searching for good ammo because... Okay, and Farfalu doesn't care about the supers. Because this ammo can kill Ridley. and sparking right into that gravity suit. And that should put Farflu into go mode. I'm not sure if he feel. Actually, no. Yeah, really, the only things left are speed and high jump. He knows everything else is, so I would say that is a very comfortable go mode. And wow, high jump in lower Norfair. You know what? This seed actually. Actually, no, never mind. I was gonna say that the seed is setting up for doing a high jumpless lava dive because you get high jump in lower Norfair. High jumpless if gravity jump is different. Oh yeah, they are very different things. So Scott has to do a ammo kill on Rid. And yeah, he's gonna have to do a lot of shots on Ridley. So all of his supers and a significant number of missiles. I really like that purple ice beam. It looks so cool. I don't think Scott should have too much of a problem with this fight, though he needs to be mindful about where he's shooting. Actually, I may have said that a bit too soon. He has power bombs. He can damage Ridley with power bombs. Why'd I say anything? Unfortunately, taking death to Ridley. I should not have said anything. He did save, so that is good. The fight started really well. Looks like he's gonna look for more items. And Scott gonna pick up those missiles. And Farfalu gonna go into Ridley. And he just needs to do 20 charge shots, and Ridley will be down. seeing a super pack over in that in the jail. I imagine he's going to take that. And a screw attack. That should help. His health is kind of bad right now, but screw attack should help. And Ridley is dead. And he's not going to be checking the Ridley tank item. Okay, Scott needs to be very careful. Because I imagine he's going to be careful, but these key hunters deal exactly 50 damage, and that is what his health is right now. So he just needs a health drop. And he'll probably feel a lot more comfortable. The screw attack will just tear through them, so here we go. Probably gonna make a save. I guess Farflu did not check the PBs of shame, so no high jump. But Farflu's just gonna fly through this area. I wonder if he's at least gonna check the item right next to the jail, like the Hodarubi special missile. Because if he does, he'll find screw attack, which actually screw attack doesn't help too much. I think about it because it will just screw up his ab skip a little. And he's gonna check it. Not getting the screw attack. He looked and saw screw and just left. He just wanted it. I think he just wanted a knee tank. Or I don't know what he wanted. Because the only items it could have been were screw, high jump, or a knee. Like, and that's all he would have really taken. So I think he's just looking for a knee. That's actually kind of funny. I feel like screw would have been a good thing to pick up, though, for, like, at least those blocks and just the key hunters and stuff. So I don't completely agree with that choice, but the screw attack is kind of not super useful anymore, so that's respectable. I think that back. This is true, because there are multiple ways to do the Zeb skip. Like, you can do it down back into the Zebetite, or you can use Speed Booster to get through, or you can just shoot at the first Zeb and do a Zeb skip on the second Zeb. Alright, Scott in there with 5 extra supers now. I'm not gonna say anything this time. And Farflu about to enter Meridia. I highly doubt he's going to check anything else. Like, there's nothing else that he could get. I mean, I guess there is the Baun tank, which he may pick up on the way back. If it's, like, I don't know. What would he even want? An E-Tank? Yeah, Ridley is dead. Very nice, Scott. Persevered. Getting a missile pack. So, right now, this is very much set up to get Charge Beam. Farflu's going to use supers on bot. Interesting. So the thing about this seed, though, Tracy, is it looks like the super count is just not good because he's not really very close to Mother Brain ammo. That is fair. We're probably going to see a grappled kill on Dragon. Especially because no high jump boots and there's also a grapple beam. Looks like he is going to get some pop shots in now. Make it slightly faster. I don't think he's going to check Dragon item. There's no reason to. So, Farflu has all 4 bosses down, and he just needs to go to Turian now. And there's a missile at bot wound tank, so I do not think he's going to get that. Just going to run right by it. And go... I imagine we'll be seeing a ship refill, because 0 supers and pretty low health. Like, you may as well just ship refill. That's my opinion on that. Because a Turian will be quite a bit slower without any supers. Scott going into Meridia now. Probably gonna have about the same Meridia as Farflu did, except he's probably gonna check more stuff because no grav, and also no ice beam. Or sorry, not no grav, no charge. Interesting that Farflu is oh wait, never mind. He needs a super to open the gate and shoot the button. This is the Justin Bailey Samus sprite. So it is Samus in the first game. Huh, Farflu not gonna get the ship. You know what? I like that. I like that he's not taking the ship refill. Despite what I said, I still like it. Is Turian... I'm not sure. He's gonna have to missile all the... At least missile the first couple of Metroids. Yeah, I personally would have done a ship refill just because of the super count. Because it will really speed up Mother Brain and just the Metroid rooms in general. So yeah, I think getting the ship refill would have been the play, but he'll be fine. He has ammo to spare. Okay, looks like he's gonna damage himself on this. On the side hopper, not gonna do baby skip, which baby skip without high jump kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Gonna take out Varia by the looks of it. Set up for stand-up glitch as well. Facing right, which is saving 40 frames, but looking back. I say never look back, but so he's gonna need to do some... I'm trying to do some math here. So 2 supers here, and then 6 missiles on the glass, and then just a lot of super missiles after that. Looks like he's going for the speed booster skip, and then just went for a standardized skip. So use the supers first, and then just unload missiles until she is dead. And there we go. Now 20 shots into Mother Brain, and Farflu is done, mostly. Green ketchup. That does not sound pleasant. So damaging himself down to the stand-up range. put some of that colored ketchup onto the pretty patties. Shout out to pretty patties. So Farfelu is going to just do some shots on the Mother Brain. So Scott has to use the speed booster here in order to just break through these blocks like that. Decided not to commentator curse. You're actually able to soft lock and stand up glitch, but Farfelu did not do that. Very nice ice beam sound there. I love it when it happens. So Scott is about to find his ice beam. Or charge beam. He's probably not going to find... He's definitely not going to find ice. And there we go. Scott finding his charge beam. So now that puts Scott into go mode. Though I imagine he would like Ice Beam, he's not going to look for it. He's just going to use 15 power bombs on the Metroids. Which... yeah, that'd be the fastest way to do it. Because to him, Ice Beam can be anywhere. Because there's all of Rex Ship, there's, of course, Retro Bryn, there's Shack Tool, and just like the rest of Meridia. And yeah, with that, Farfelu has done with a time of 1:07:51. GG. I imagine we're going to be seeing Scott finishing this one out. I would like to take a moment to plug the tracker of this race, 2D Tones. Looks like we have Farfelu in here.
Hi.
Hello. Congrats on your win.
Thank you. Well, I guess Fat Scott also did not bet on Croc.
He actually did bet on Croc, but he took a very different route than you did.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I was pretty conservative because the full random split, I did not want to leave anything behind. And yeah, maybe there was nothing good in Wreck Ship except for supers, but yeah, I guess it was still a good choice not to have to come back there.
Yeah. So, I guess the big difference in routing is that when you went to Retro Brinstar, he decided to go straight down Red Tower. So he never found a Space Jump or Ice Beam in... Well, I think the Space Jump made a pretty significant difference because he got stuck in the worst room because he didn't know to Spring Ball jump out. So basically, he ended up leaving Lower Norfair altogether to find something to get through Worst Room. So I think
Alright,
that was
that's
I think that was the really big thing that happened in this race.
yeah, I know the feeling. I lost the Semrat tournament because of that wall jump in the first room.
Yeah, that wall jump is bad.
Yes.
Yeah, how are you feeling about this? Like, would you have done this, like, routed this slightly differently, or had you had a chance?
No,
Or
I wouldn't change anything, but I know it was their very last possible location for high jump boots or gravity for any progression I would need. But no, I think it was the right call. Depending on what I had, it's unfortunate I got the gravity last, but still I would not change anything, and it's very, very better than my last race 2 days ago in the Rando. It was like 40 minutes on for a power bomb, so it was more comfortable in this one.
oh wow, yeah. Basically, what I was thinking, because Croc was really one of the last locations you had to check, because you just did all of Wreckship or all of Norfair and just like checked basically everything, and then did check the cosine just last. Like,
Yes, and the last in the Croc area too.
yeah, because you went to the left first instead of going down. Which I thought that was kind of funny that the last thing that could have been your go mode was your go mode.
Yeah, that was bad for this time, but I like that route. If I can get the gate glitch pretty early, it's a good call to go left because there's no backtracking. I'm pretty sure it's the fastest way when you clear all the area.
I'm not actually sure if it's the fastest path or not, but I haven't timed it myself. But
Yeah, same.
there's a lot of rooms, so I'm not actually sure.
But yeah, it was pretty fun, and the starting location was not that bad considering we could begin in Lower Norfair or Wreckship. It was like I said, comfortable. It was a good seed. Well, if you find the space jump, and I don't know in details what route Fat Scott took, but for me it was quite nice.
I actually do have a question. So, what was your logic behind skipping Screw Attack? Because you just saw Screw right there and then just left, and I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, but at that point I did not need it anymore. The thing I was thinking is I don't want the 7-second fanfare, and I have to turn it off if I miss the speed zip skip. So it's just
Yeah,
in my head, it was more like a time loss for all the benefit from the screw attack.
yeah, that's fair. So, were you looking for an E tank right there? Because I'm not
Yeah,
really
that would
sure.
have been nice. I was pretty low on health, and that's why I farmed before Botwoon.
That makes sense. Because I was thinking, because there really couldn't be anything there that you would have wanted, because other than an E tank, of course. So
No, I wanted nothing else than anything.
that makes sense.
So, well, thank you for the restream. Thank you, the Tones, again for tracking, and looking forward next week for the area Rando.
Thank you for racing.
Have a good one.
You too. Right, so Scott is entering the Mother Brain room now. Gonna just blast those Zebs out. The Zeb skip. Because without Ice Beam, the Zeb skip needs speed. Or, well, does it? Well, yeah. You need speed to do it effectively. So 24 charge shots will take care of Mother Brain with this beam combo. Oh. Does he have 2 reserve tanks? That's not good. I don't know. Does he have enough health? Okay, good, he does. Wow. So he got a double hit by the ketchup right there. That could have been really bad. But he can survive. So this basically guarantees that Scott will finish in very soon. So I'm going to take a moment to talk about some of the upcoming runs for the Super Metroid Item Randomizer League. So at 6 p.m. Eastern, so in an hour and 11 minutes from now, we are going to be seeing Hylian Space Jump Frogs versus Dog Ate My Morph Ball. And that is going to be Cross Product versus RKC TKC. And that will be on Speed Gaming 2. And at 7 p.m. Eastern, so in 2 hours and 10 minutes from now, on Speed Gaming 3, we'll be having Team Pro Gamer Girls and Kamaru versus Noobs BR. And that'll be Kamaru versus Glacio Souza. I hope I didn't say your name too bad. But and that'll be on Speed Gaming 3 in about 2 hours. So those are the upcoming races today. There don't seem to be any races scheduled for tomorrow, but on Wednesday, we're going to have 3 races. And there may be some races that end up getting scheduled for then. You'll just have to see. Not sure if we'll get Scott in voice or not, but Scott has finished with a time of 1:19:46. So GG to Scott. Also, speaking of which, looks like we have him in here. Hello, Scott.
Hello.
How are you? How are you feeling about that run? So, GG as well.
I think I had the right idea with what I wanted to do, and then I just failed to do it.
So, if it makes you feel better, the wall jump you were doing was pixel perfect and frame perfect. So, like, it's a
Yeah.
really terrible wall jump.
I knew that, and I tried to go for it, and I didn't get it, and I figured if I did it any longer, I'd be losing a lot more time than I already was, so I went back. I also wasted time fighting GT for the first time, and then I died on Ridley because I ran out of ammo. I was like barely too short, and overall Lower Norfair was just really bad. I think if I had done it better, I probably would have saved upwards of 10-15 minutes there.
Yeah, I did like the Lower Norfair play, though. Unfortunately, it just didn't pan out for you, which it happens.
Other than that, though, it was a pretty clean sweep after that.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for the high jump, and then I found bombs, so I was like, okay, I guess I'm going back.
Yeah. It was a fun race to watch and commentate. I will say that.
It was definitely fun. I didn't really mind the death at the beginning because I didn't lose much, and I could just skip Etiquette. So, I almost died again there, and I was gonna cry if I did, but I didn't. So
yeah, because the death like put you behind 4 minutes, but I said you really weren't 4 minutes behind at the beginning because like you just skipped Etiquette, and that just like saved you quite a bit of time. So yeah, you really didn't lose very much from that early death.
And I made the right play of doing Mission Impossible again because I found speed there, and that was good.
Oh, yeah.
I also had to... I was able to find Spring Ball, but that didn't really help me out, so...
So, do you have any like burning comments you wanted to say about the race in general? I don't know. I feel like I definitely covered quite a bit in the commentary, but if you have anything that is like going through your head that you just want to say about the race, you can feel free.
Be smarter in Lower Norfair, I guess. I mean, other than that, I think I would have been okay. I don't know. I need to stop making dumb deaths.
Well, it's a lot of a big part of the game, just making those dumb deaths, honestly, because like it does happen, like all the time, really.
I'm not upset about that race. I think it was. I had a lot of fun. It was good, but I'm more upset at myself.
And you know what? That's what's most important. You had fun, and isn't that what we're all here for?
Yep. Where was Space Jump?
Space Jump was in the ceiling E-Tank in Blue Bryn.
Okay, so I just completely skipped that area. Okay.
Yeah. And Ice Beam was in Billy Mays.
Okay, so
as well.
So that's what I missed. All right. Yeah, I just after going down worked out so well in my practice. I figured I'd just keep going down, and it seemed like it would have been good.
Yeah. It makes sense. Like both plays, like that, both you and Farfalu did were both really good in my opinion. Because
I started thinking more about the routing, and after I saw that I got gravity after Croc, I was like, okay, I can probably go back and do gravity jump into Lower Norfair. And after that, I spent 30 minutes in Norfair. So.
Yeah, I think I'd be willing to say that this race could have gone really differently depending on how that room went in Lower Norfair. Like the worst room.
If I had gotten past the worst room, I would have been in a pretty good spot. I mean, I would have still lost time because of the GT fight, but other than that, It would have
Yeah.
been. I would have been probably like more than 5 minutes above what I got. I don't know if I would have won or anything, but
Definitely would have closed the gap a bit, though.
yeah. But all right, that's about what I have to say.
All right. Well, thanks again for racing, and GG.
Thank you too.
All right, so to close this all out, again, follow the runners. I'll post their links in chat, and again, shouts to 2D Tones and Speed Gaming as well. So, yeah, this is a lot of fun, and just keep watching the Randomizer League. It's really fun. So, here is the runners. Yeah, and we'll catch y'all around. Take care, y'all.